Welcome back to 80s Rewatch. This week, we're locking ourselves inside the Nakatomi Plaza with no shoes, a handful of bullets, and a growing list of bad decisions as we revisit the 1988 action classic Die Hard. Join us as we follow John McClane, a New York cop who just wanted to patch things up with his wife, but instead ended up fighting a gang of terrorists at the world's worst office Christmas party. Expect explosions, one-liners, and falling bad guys, and enough broken glass to keep a podiatrist busy for a lifetime. So grab your Twinkie, cue up the Christmas music, and yippee-ki-yay your way into another episode of 80s Rewatch.
Now, is this a Christmas film or is this not a Christmas film?
Give them the detonators, John, they're gonna kill me.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Every time I watch it, it makes me nervous.
I now have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. This was his first ever film role.
He's got some guts.
I had to tell myself in my little brain then, don't do the whole thing.
Bring in the car, bring in the car. A million police officers turn up.
Yes, the Purcell's not been working, has it?
McClane's having a right gunfight with these terrorists, isn't he? Only John could drive somebody that crazy.
Dwayne T. Robinson.
It's nail-biting, the tension just holds you there.
I love this line.
Yippee-ki-yay, brother trucker. So Simon, Die Hard, one of the best action films of all time, not just of the 80s, an absolute roller coaster from start to finish. And I bet anyone who's seen this film once has definitely seen it twice or even more. It's that good.
Yes, Darren, it is very, very good. And I think the reason I like this one is because Bruce Willis, to me, isn't your typical 80s action hero, is he?
No, he isn't.
No, because you think 80s, you think Stallone and Schwarzenegger, you know, the big muscles, this, that and the other. But Bruce Willis is just like your average, regular New York cop, isn't he?
He is, yes. You're quite right. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. He's just a regular guy.
Yes, and he's just wanting to go and see his wife. Well, try and patch things up with his wife over the Christmas period. Now, Darren, shall we get the elephant out of the room before we start?
I think I know what you're going to say, so show the elephant in, please.
I'll open the door and I'll let him in. Now, is this a Christmas film or is this not a Christmas film?
In my personal opinion, it's not a Christmas film. To me, it's a film at Christmas.
Spot on. Exactly what I was going to say. But you're probably like me. You watch this at Christmas.
Oh, God, yes.
yeah, we do. And it is just a film set at Christmas. I know that some listeners, if you think this is a Christmas film, I apologise. But to me, it's a film set at Christmas.
Yeah, because it's got subtle little kind of Christmas hints in it, but it doesn't overpower you with Christmas, does it?
No, it's just like the odd little bit of a Christmas tree. He's got a gift for the kids at Christmas. It's the Christmas music, and pretty much that's it. And it's a Christmas office party.
Correct. And when was it out, Simon? What year was it out?
Right, I'll do the releases for us like we normally do, so you'll know exactly when this was released out. In the USA, it was the 20th of July, 1988. And we got this in the UK, February 1989.
So sorry, I'm just interrupting you. So either way, it avoided Christmas.
Yeah, it wasn't released at Christmas at all, no. And even the VHS release was September the 1st, 1988 here in the UK.
Right, okay.
And it was made for a reasonable budget back in 88. It was made on a 28 million budget, and it went on to gross 141 million worldwide.
Wow.
So you could call this a bit of a sleeper hit because at the time, Bruce Willis got paid $5 million to do this film.
Wow.
And everyone said you're mad because he's not a bankable action star. And there was quite a few people that were offered this role. Do you want to know who was offered this role and turned it down?
Definitely. I can think of a few action people, probably like Tom Cruise and people like that, but...
No, it wasn't Cruise. Cruise didn't get offered this one. The
No?
usual one, Sylvester Stallone got offered this.
Yeah.
He turned it down. And Harrison Ford was also offered this one.
Ah.
And what this surprised me, but I kind of get this one. Don Johnson, Miami Vice.
Yes.
Yeah, I see that. Richard Gere.
I don't know.
No, I don't get. And this one, no, this would not have worked at all. Clint Eastwood.
Oh, definitely not.
No. So I kind of, it's like we say every time, because Bruce Willis is in it, he fits it. perfectly.
He does, doesn't
Perfectly.
he? I don't know what it is about him. Maybe you can associate yourself with him because he's that normal.
Yeah, and I think it's the witty one-liners that he comes out with, and his overall performance where he's talking to himself.
Yeah.
I think that for me makes it, and also I think what makes this one for me is Alan Rickman. I like his character that, pretty much like in RoboCop, he's not your typical, shall we say, villain, big, over-the-top villain. He looks like an accountant. He looks like somebody that works in that office.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He's not like a great big mastermind villain. He's just like an average person.
But he is clever. He is
very,
clever.
very, very clever. I think Alan Rickman, and another quick bit of trivia, this was his first ever film role.
What? First ever?
First ever. He was 41 when he did this. It was his first ever film role. He'd always been in the theatre. He was always a thespian. And then he ventured into film, and he was in two minds. He took the role, and he was in two minds whether to do it. Then he was said to the director, he said, I don't want to do this. And then they had a chat, and he changed his mind, and thank God he did.
Yes.
Because he is fantastic as Hans Gruber.
He is. He's very good.
Very, very, very good. Now, this was released, obviously, in 1988, and we got it here in the UK in 1989. So I've done the top 10 for 1988 when it was officially released to the world. Okay, so we'll do the top 10. So number 10, Beetlejuice.
Hey, that's good. I like Beetlejuice.
Yeah, very, very good. Number 9, Cocktail.
It's Cocktail is really good. You've got to see that. I know you haven't seen it. Yeah. I'm not spoiling it because we haven't seen every single 80s film.
No.
But I have, and you need to because it's really good.
Well, I know you're going to get me to watch this because we're going to do one episode where we choose a film for each other, aren't we?
Yes.
So that might be yours for me to watch. And number 8 was The Naked Gun, Frank Drebin.
Oh, it's brilliant. I used to watch Police Squad, the series, and it's just great. Leslie Nielsen's brilliant.
Yeah, very good film. Number 7 is the film we're covering today on 80s Rewatch, Die Hard.
Yeah, fair shout.
Yeah, and I like the first one of these. Second one, probably not so... Well, it was good, but nowhere near as good as the first one. Crocodile Dundee 2.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Not as good as the first. The first was brilliant.
This one, number 5, very close to my heart, this one, Darren. You'll get this when I say it. Twins.
Twins, yes. Danny DeVito and Big Arnie.
Big Arnie, me being a twin, and pretty much being like Schwarzenegger and DeVito, me and my brother. Very close to my heart. And the next one, I like this one. Bit strange probably now in this day and age, but I think we'll watch it at some point. Big,
yes. Tom Hanks. That's good. Very good.
A film that we used to watch as kids, me and my brother Mossy, Paul Seddon at his house. Coming to America.
Oh, Eddie Murphy is in every single countdown.
He is. We're going to have to do an Eddie Murphy film. And
definitely.
We'll have to get around to Eddie Murphy. And this one, I like this one. And this one's Marmite to a lot of people. But for me, I actually like this film. I have it on DVD, Laserdisc, everything. It's Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
I went to the cinema to see that.
I did.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I went to see Roger Rabbit at the cinema. Matlock Cinema, if you're a regular listener, good old Matlock Cinema. Now the Morsey Indian Restaurant.
Yes.
And number 1, this one. Now, when I rented this from Christine's, I was in two minds. Even on the drive home in the car with my mum, I actually thought, have I done the right thing here? Rain Man.
Rainman's pretty good.
Loved it. When I watched it, absolutely loved it. I appreciate it more now as I'm older, but even back then when I rented it, I absolutely loved it.
Yes, and it was probably one of the first times you ever saw autism on the screen and wondered what it was.
Yes,
but although it never really over-explained it, it was brilliant. Really good.
Dustin Hoffman did it fantastically.
Yes,
brilliantly. So so the film we're covering is Die Hard, like we say. Now, can you remember the first time you watched Die Hard, Darren?
I can't specifically remember when I first watched it. It could have been the 90s. What I can remember about it is I remember being on a youth training scheme. Remember them, YTS?
Oh, yes. The good old YTS.
I was with other 18 and 19-year-olds who, again, had no hope and no future in Thatcher's Britain, but we're not going to go into that. And I remember they gave me a box to look through of so-called jobs for £29.50 a week. But in the distance, I could hear a group of girls talking about this actor, Bruce Willis, and how fit he was and how good he was. And I remember also being in the video library and seeing his face in there. You know, he's in that famous vest. Yes. And I remember thinking, well, he's not that nice. But obviously I don't look at him in that way that they do. But as well, I'd love to look like Bruce Willis now, in that vest regardless. Not the string vest that I've got on.
Well, can I just stop you there? You do resemble Bruce Willis with the hairline nowadays, Darren.
Yeah, well, he had a bit of hair in Die Hard.
He did, yes. I'm joking. Yeah. I apologise, Darren. I shouldn't have said that. That was cruel. That was cruel of me, Darren. Sorry, carry on.
But anyway, I was at a friend's house, and he taped it off the TV, and he'd knocked the little tabs out. You know, so you used to do that in them days.
I love doing that, you know. And then you'd save the film, wouldn't you? And then when you were scratching for a VHS, you put a bit of tape over it.
Correct. Yeah. And he'd done that. He said, "Oh, I've taped this film off the TV, and I've knocked the inserts out because there's no way I'm taping over this. It's brilliant." And I remember watching it with him, and I think that was the first time. But it must have had to have been on normal TV for him to tape it. Yeah. So I'm not over sure. I think it were probably going to be the 90s.
But you've just made me laugh there, just quickly changing the subject down when you said Thatcher's Britain. The other day I went to a car park for a football tournament for my young son, and they charged me £3 to get in. And do you know what my response was? That's Thatcher's Britain for you.
Oh, I'm going to say it is a family show.
Yes, no, I would not swear. I did say to myself, my wife, what are you going on about? I said, have you never heard that before? Thatcher's Britain.
Yes,
there was. You are. Right.
There were hard times, and
yes,
we were lucky enough to have these kind of films to kind of get us through these things and give us some aspiration of what life is like across the pond. And if you work hard, this is what you can have.
Exactly, Darren. Yes.
So where did you first watch it?
I remember this. I remember the box art in Christine's, and I think it had been out a while because I'd looked at it a few times before. And I was like you, I didn't really know who Bruce Willis was. I knew he was on, was it Moonstruck, the TV series?
I think it were Moonlighting.
Moonlighting, sorry, because we all say Moonstruck in there. It's a Cher film, isn't it? Which
it certainly is.
That's the one. So yes, Moonlighting, sorry. And I knew he was in that. And you look and think, now, because you'd normally go, like we've said numerous times before, you go for Stallone or Schwarzenegger for an action film, where now you pretty much watch anything. And I remember the box art because it's his face, isn't it, with Nakatomi Plaza behind him blowing up the top floor.
It is, yes.
On the box. I remember looking at it, and I can remember, and this is the beauty of this, I remember this quite well. I remember my brother picked a film, and I was looking for a film, and I couldn't quite, because we used to go off, if he picked comedy, I'd pick an action or a horror, so we didn't have the same sort of film.
Yeah.
So we'd have something, totally different to watch. And I remember, I can't think, he must have picked something up. And I remember my mum saying to me, because he was looking up and down the shop. I remember my mum saying, come on, Simon, quick, pick one. And I just remember thinking, oh, I'll give that a go. I picked it down. And I remember we put it in. And we all got round my mum and dad's. It was a 6 weeks holiday thing. And we all watched it. And all of us at the end of it went, oh my God, that's amazing.
I'll bet you did.
You did. And I remember that quite well. And then for me, there's a few sequels, isn't there? And I like this one. But for me, it's not my favourite one in the Die Hard series.
Are you going to say number 3?
Yes.
It's great.
3 is amazing. And I did think this when I was rewatching this, which we'll touch on when we rewatch them. I did actually think, somewhere down the line, a long time down the line when we've done this, we might have to go for sequels. And even if they're not in the 80s, we'll do a sequel.
Yes.
See how we think.
Yeah, born in the 80s.
Yeah, something like that. But to me, I like this one, but I love the third one, to be fair to it. Where did you rewatch this then, Darren?
I was in the usual place.
Okay. Let me guess. Slumped with a bottle of wine.
that was later when we were getting towards the end. But no, I was in the bath, and then I got my pyjamas on, I got my dressing gown. I was there. All I missed was a little cravat and a long cigar, like I was somebody posh. But no, usual place. It's my place. I want to relax. I want everything to be fine. And that's that place. And I'm not going to stop drinking wine for anybody unless the doctor tells me so.
Quite right. Do what makes you happy, Darren. Do what makes you happy, but in moderation.
Yes, of course, yes. But I was for a brief moment thinking, shall I go down and watch it in a vest? Because I have got a vest. So when did you rewatch it?
I rewatched this last night now. I had a bit of a dilemma last night, Darren, because it's been a few weeks since we recorded the last one, isn't it? The last podcast.
It is, yes.
So I tried to do these just before we do this, so it's fresh in my mind, totally forgetting what also started yesterday.
Oh, the World Cup.
The World Cup. So I thought, oh no. So I watched a bit of the World Cup, and then by then, as you get to our age, the time is ticking. And like we've just said off air, this is quite a long film, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It surprised me.
Yeah, it did me last night when I was watching it, and I looked at the clock when it finished. I was like, oh, God, I've got to go to bed. You know what I mean? So I watched this in my usual position after the first half of Mexico. I sat there on the sofa, and I thought, right, so I raided the cupboard thinking, what did I buy the other night? I couldn't remember which biscuit of choice I'd got for this week. So the biscuit of choice this week with my normal cup of coffee was shortbread biscuits from one of our leading supermarkets which starts with an S.
Yes, other supermarkets are available.
Exactly, other supermarkets are available, but this one began with an S and ended in Burries. So the biscuit of choice this week was one of their shortbread. Do you know, I've not had a shortbread biscuit in ages. You know, the big, thick, chunky shortbread biscuits.
Scottish ones, yes.
That's them. That you've got it. So I polished off a packet of those, dunking away, because they're quite good dunkers, in my cup of coffee, on the sofa, in my happy place with my biscuit of choice.
And with that in mind, Simon, shall we put on our vests, take our shoes and socks off, and head for the Nakatomi building to see if we can rewatch this film and get out in one piece?
Yes, Darren, now this, because I got accused of having a South African accent the other week when I did this. I'll try and do this in my best one, because I thought, what witty comment can I come back on when you say, shall we dive in? Shall we go, ladies and gentlemen, shall we dive in to Die Hard?
That was French, if anybody's listening.
I can't do it. I love it just when he stands there at the start, you know, when he gets them all in the room and goes, ladies and gentlemen. I thought that can be my hook into Die Hard.
Right. So anyway, we're starting with a plane landing in California, aren't we? And we see John McClane, Bruce Willis, and he's gripping the arms of his seat, isn't he? And he's relieved that they've landed safely.
Yes, and it's his person sat next to him, isn't it, that says to him, the trick about flying is taking your socks off, getting them on the carpet, doesn't hit your feet, and screwing them up into a ball.
Yeah, making fists with your toes. That's
but that, yeah, making a fist. But this, you don't really notice that comment. But then later on, it comes quite prevalent what he said, because what he said leads to a big part of this film, I think.
Yes, it does. You're quite right.
Yeah,
yes.
Because of his statement, he has no shoes on all the way through this film.
That's right. And you know what? I've only just realised that.
So did I. Yeah, I did. Because you think, because he took his shoes off to do that, he never got a chance to put them back on.
True. Very good. Yeah. Well picked up.
Yes.
I mean, I've never tried that. I'm not the biggest flyer in the world, but I bet millions of people have after watching that.
Yeah. And do you know what also struck me about this? Because obviously times have changed and for the better. What has he got on his hip, John McClane?
Has he got a badge on?
No, he's got a gun, hasn't he?
Oh, of course.
Because he says he looks, doesn't he? He looks a bit startled. He's like, don't worry, I'm a cop. But how did he get that on the plane?
Well done, yes. Because he's getting that big teddy bear down, isn't it?
Yes.
And that's when he sees the gun. Yes, you're quite right.
So
how did he get that on the plane?
Exactly. I'm thinking, times have changed and for the better. And then what I like about this, we see him then in the airport, don't we, when it comes on Die Hard, in a proper 80s logo. Proper 80s logo. That's me. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And the music kicks in. And already, even though nothing's happened yet, it's quite threatening.
Yeah, and then we go to is it Nakatomi Plaza?
It certainly is, where Mr. Takagi is addressing the staff, isn't he? And he's telling them what a great year they have. And I think this is the first time we notice it's Christmas, because there's this massive Christmas tree, isn't there?
Yes, and to be fair, he looks a decent boss.
He does.
He looks quite a nice man, to be fair to him.
But not all the staff are enjoying the party, are they? There's one woman who's still working, and that's Holly Gennaro.
Is it Gennaro or is it McLean?
It'll be McLean later, but at the minute it's Gennaro, isn't it?
Yes, because they're having a bit of trouble, aren't they?
Yes.
And like you say, it's a typical Christmas party because even where we work, there's still people doing things, isn't there, right up to the last minute, trying to get things in place because you're going to have a bit of a break. Yeah, you're going to have a bit of, you're going to have a little bit of a break. And this is the first time we see Ellis as well, isn't it? Slime ball.
Yeah.
Slime ball. Typical 80s yuppie. Don't get me wrong, I think 80s yuppies are cool, but he's your typical 80s yuppie.
He is.
He's no Derek Trotter in my eyes.
No, certainly not. But back at the airport, McLean sees a driver waiting for him, doesn't he? And this is the first time where we see Argyle, his limo driver.
Yeah, and I think this is quite awkward between the two of them, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think McLean kind of puts him at ease because Argyle says, I've never done this before, this is my first day. And he ends up being the coolest limo driver ever. Yeah,
because he actually sits in the front, doesn't he, John McLean? Yeah. He doesn't sit in the back. And it's quite good of Argyle a little bit later in the scene because he doesn't leave, does he? He gives him his card and says, if things don't work out, I'll take you where you need to go.
Yeah, but Argyle's telling him all what he's got. It's got CB, it's got radio, it's got a bar, it's got everything.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
This is true. I mean, when you've been in a limo, obviously it's quite nice to go in a limo, but to me, I'm not keen on the sideways. You know, you sit sideways in the limo.
Yeah, well, I've never been in one.
I have to sit at the back, like in a proper seat, because you kind of go in, it's weird. Yeah, I've been in a few, and like I say, they're going down, and this is where you first see, from the outside anyway, Nakatomi Plaza, isn't it? And it's an impressive building.
Oh.
Very, because it's just there, isn't it? It's huge.
And do you know what building that actually is?
No, but I've got a feeling you're going to tell me.
It's Universal Pictures head office.
Is it really?
It is.
Because when they was filming this, it wasn't completely finished. So you know where they go upstairs and it's like a construction site?
Yeah, it was being renovated.
Yes, that was how it was at the time and they just went with it.
Yeah, pretty good idea, really.
Yeah, true, yeah.
But anyway, McLean, he walks into the foyer, doesn't he, and asks the security guard if he can speak to Holly McLean. And he says, just type it there, just type it there. So he types McLean, but it doesn't get anywhere, does it? And this is where she's changed the name to Gennaro.
Do you know what I took from this also? Just watching it. It's a touchpad screen.
It is. State of the art then.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking, wow, that's good for the 80s. Very good. And now everything we have is touchscreen.
Yes.
So, yeah, I thought that was quite good because you know me, I'm quite geeky for the 80s tech and stuff like that. I quite like things like that.
But we're seeing it in its infancy, aren't we? We're seeing it at the beginning, and it was mesmerising at first. It was brilliant. It was the future. Now we look back on it and think, it's a bit dated. And it wasn't dated. It was just, wow.
Yeah, it was all new. Everything was new. And like I say, probably from the late 80s, early to mid-90s, that's where tech started to really get a big push, didn't it?
It certainly did. But the security guard tells him, party on the 30th floor. Just get off when you hear the noise. And when the elevator door swings open, the party's in full swing, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And he's walking through, isn't he? And he picks a drink up.
Yes.
And he doesn't like it, does he? He gives it back to the man.
No, because he's just looking for Holly, isn't he? And some fella comes up and kisses him, doesn't he, and says, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and he like shoves him off, doesn't he, looking at him and says, what are you doing? And then...
I think it's Takagi, isn't it, who notices him.
Yes. And like we've just said, nice guy.
Yes.
Very nice guy.
He says, right, I'll take you to Holly. And what happens next? He takes him into Holly's office, and that slime ball, like I said earlier, is Ellis. And Ellis is snorting cocaine. And Mr. Takagi introduces Ellis and says he's Holly's husband and a cop, as if to say, shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, stop what you're doing. And to be fair to John McClane, he says, doesn't he, oh, you've missed a bit.
Oh, yeah, because he's already clued up. You can see straight away McLean's streetwise and everything. And you know what? There are millions and millions of things in the world to make you happy. Why on earth would you want to shove that rubbish up your nose?
God knows, but he's such an annoying even his laugh is
Yes.
annoying, and he plays this part brilliantly.
Yeah, I feel sorry for him now, because if you met him in real life, you'd take him as Ellis.
You would, yeah. And the bit I like about this is where, obviously, they're in the office and you can see the view from her office window.
Oh, yeah.
It's fantastic. And then, obviously, Holly comes in, and this is quite awkward, isn't it, this bit?
Well, the way I look at this, I think no matter what he were telling Argyle on the way there, that relationship's not over. And it's not over for her, because at first sight of him, it takes a breath, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Like you say, she's happy to see him because she didn't expect to see him.
Yeah, and then what does Ellis? He says something about show him the watch. It's a Rolex. So what?
You got a Rolex. You got a Rolex. I could buy a £5 Casio. It does the same thing.
Exactly. It
Tells you the time. Exactly. So I'm not a watchman. I know some people are out there. If that's your thing, brilliant. But for me, no. Do you know what I want, Darren? I want a 1980s Swatch. That's what I want.
Yes.
Remember the Swatches?
Yes, that's the watch to have, a Swatch.
A Swatch. Yeah.
Say that when you're drunk.
Yeah. But this is also where then we get a quick glimpse of the truck that's coming up to the plaza, don't we?
Yes.
Which has got the men in, shall we say. And then we get cut back to John and Holly. And it's...
Yeah, and he's in the bathroom. Oh, they're in the bathroom. He's freshening up, isn't he?
Yeah. And this is where we see for the first time, Darren, the star of the show.
Oh, yes, the famous vest.
The famous vest, which is white at the minute, and it doesn't stay white. But then they're having a bit of interaction, pretty much like most married couples. Then they start to bicker, don't they?
Yes, he soon descends on an argument.
Yeah, which you know and I know, within 10 minutes of being with the wife, you do start to bicker. No, and it's like marriage.
That's pretty good. 10 minutes, as long as that.
Yeah, And then, obviously, I don't know the name of the girl that comes in, and she kind of breaks up the chat, doesn't she? The girl that's pregnant.
Yes, because she tells Holly that she needs to make a speech now.
Yes.
But do we then cut to outside, where two men come to enter the building?
Yeah, we do. We see the truck again, and that's going down into the car park, and then we see it's Carl, isn't it, with the long blonde hair?
Do you know what? It's not. This fooled me. I was calling him Carl all the way through. And then when McLean kills him and his brother tips the desk up, he says, or somebody says, you'll have to tell Carl his brother is dead. And I thought that was Carl. So I looked it up, and it's Tony.
Which one? The long-haired one?
No, the one with the glasses.
Oh, no, the first ones that come in is Carl. The long-haired one comes in,
right.
yes. He comes in with a computer man.
We'll forget everything I've just said.
Yeah. It's Carl is the long-haired one.
Yes, and Theo, isn't it?
Theo, that's the one, yeah. So, obviously, now they're in, because they just walk up and shoot the security man, don't they?
Oh, right in the head.
Right in the head.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. And then they shoot the other one, they drop a flash grenade, don't they, like a hockey puck. And that explodes, and then he shoots the other security guard.
Yes.
And
then in the basement, that's when the truck opens and loads of men with guns get out, don't they? And this is the first time that we see Hans Gruber.
Yeah, I like his character. I really do. I think he carries this film as much as Bruce Willis.
I think you're right, yes. You're quite right.
Does. It's just the way he talks, the way he carries himself. He's never flustered. He's just calm.
But the kind of opposites, aren't they?
Yeah, polar opposites.
Yes. But Theo has locked all the elevators, hasn't he? The escalators, locked all the exits. They're upstairs in the party, haven't got a clue what's going on. And they put a new security guard on reception. Who looks pretty efficient.
Yeah, he looks like a security guard.
But then one of them goes downstairs with an angle grinder, doesn't he? And tries to cut the communication cables.
That's Carl's brother.
That's Carl's brother.
That's Carl's brother. Yeah. So he's cutting all the communications, like any alarms or anything, isn't he, too? No, because he sends an alarm, doesn't he? John McClane sends an alarm somehow. How does he do that? We'll get to that in a minute. But then they all come out of the elevator, like you say. And then he pulls all the wires out, doesn't he? And then we see John McClane upstairs doing the feet thing.
Yes, making fists with his toes on the carpet. And it looks as though it actually works. And without you saying earlier. But you're quite right. This is a pivotal point in the film.
Yeah, because this is the point where he's taking his shoes off and he doesn't put them back on.
No. And then McLean phones Argyle, who looks like he's having a good time in the limo, to be fair, to see if he's still there. And that's when the phone cuts out.
Yeah, because Carl has cut through the whole power cables with the chainsaw, hasn't he?
Yes. Then we see Hans Gruber and his men get out the elevator at the 30th floor with all the guns in the world.
Yeah, they start shooting, don't they? And then you see little different bits of what's going on in the office.
Yes.
And John McClane, quite rightly, he makes a run for it, doesn't he? He gets out of the way, and he's obviously got his gun, and he's in the construction site. And this is where I'm not going to do that line again.
Go on.
Ladies and gentlemen.
That wasn't bad, that.
That was all right. Then he's addressing them and telling them, isn't he? He's looking for...
Mr. Takagi. He's looking for Mr. Takagi.
Yes, and he's reciting his life, isn't he? So he's obviously done his research on him.
Yes, and he's pretty good. And he tries to step forward as a person of that stature would do. But Holly stops him, doesn't she?
Yeah.
It doesn't take much stopping, does it? Just a little hand to say, wait on.
No.
But he does stop. He does stop. And then when it gets too intense...
He reveals himself, doesn't he? He says, stop.
Steady on. He kind of he steps forward.
Yeah.
I'd cut that phrase.
Yeah. And then, like I say, he comes forward and this is where they take him away, don't they? And we see why they're there.
Yes.
And do you know the bit I like about this? When they're in the lift, I like as they're going up to his office, he comments on his suit, doesn't he?
Yes,
Gruber,
he does.
do you remember who made the suit?
Oh, John Moores, is it, or something like that?
You're very, very close. It's a John Phillips suit from London, isn't it? Yes, I can tell. I've got 3 myself.
Yes.
I thought that was quite good because he's just, looking, that's a very nice suit.
But it's a common thing to say in an uncommon situation.
It is. Really. You wouldn't expect anyone to say that comment on a suit to someone that you're trying to rob £640 million, dollars from.
Correct. Because he does take him to the main offices now, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And Theo asks Takagi for the codes.
And he hasn't got them, has he?
Or he says he hasn't got them. But McLean, all the time, is right next door, seeing everything what's going on, isn't he?
Yeah, he's watching everything that's happening.
And what I can't understand is because he doesn't get what he wants, he takes the silencer off the gun, does Gruber. And why is that going to make a difference?
No.
But he does say, I'm going to count to 3. There will not be a 4. You could say that now, couldn't you, in your own Hans Gruber voice?
No, I'm not doing it again. I've peaked. I'm not doing it again. But like you say, he gives him 3 seconds and then he says, I'd rather die, doesn't he?
Yeah, he says, I don't have the codes, you're just going to have to shoot me.
That's it. And I thought he kills him quite quickly. Would you not wanted to keep him alive?
Yeah, he's got no tolerance whatsoever.
No, it's quite cold-blooded. Just bang, he's done.
Yeah. And that spooks McLean, doesn't it? And he makes a noise and they kind of hear it and run to see.
The bit of trivia for this. Obviously, because Alan Rickman was a thespian and worked on the theatre, he couldn't get used to the gunshot noises. Okay. He didn't like the loudness of the gunshot noise. So they had to prepare him when it was going to happen. And when he shoots Takagi, what was his name?
Takagi.
Takagi. I keep wanting to say Miyagi. Takagi.
Yeah.
When he shoots,
Miyagi's brother.
Yeah, Miyagi's brother. When he shoots him, you actually see him flinch and jump back because he doesn't like the noise of the gun. If you look at him.
Never noticed.
You see. Yeah, so he does that, doesn't he? But McLean's watching and he bangs his head, doesn't he? Is it on the desk?
It's something like that, yes. Because he's obviously shocked.
Yeah, and then he's on the run, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's phoned Argyle and says, tell me you heard the shots and you've called the police. Oh, no, he doesn't phone him. He says it to himself, doesn't he?
Do you know what I took from that, right? Argyle's in the basement. John McClane is 30 stories up in a high-rise building. How would he hear that gunshot?
I suppose so, yes.
That's the first thing I thought. I sat there last night and went, how would he hear that?
But you don't think of these things when you're biting your nails and drinking your wine.
No, when you're dunking your 15th shortbread biscuit. So, like I say, then this is where it starts to pick up for me. It's where the action starts to kick in.
Yes, because we do see the terrorists are starting to run in a lot of cable and planting C4, aren't they?
Yeah, but you don't know why they're doing that to start with, do you?
No, you don't. You just think that they're just running in some cable.
Yeah, but it's for an ulterior motive near the end of the film.
Correct. But Theo does mention something which does have an effect later on in the film. He says, I can crack 6 of the codes to the safe, but the 7th code is out of my hands. That's where you come in.
Right, yeah. At first you don't really get that, do you?
No. You think, well, you've done 6, why can't you do 7? But it becomes prevalent later on.
Yeah, it's very clever what Gruber does near the end to get the 7th one and to get it to open, isn't it, the vault?
Yeah, kind of. We'll come to that, but it's more the FBI that kind of that do it.
That blunder the way through and do it for him, basically.
Yes.
This is the bit...
Yeah, we're up on the 32nd floor, aren't we? With John McClane, and he's getting really agitated until he sees a fire switch and a sprinkler system, doesn't he?
Yeah, because he pulls the fire switch. This is what I was just touching on earlier, because this is how he sends the signal to the police station, doesn't he?
Yeah, Gruber's so quick and so smart, isn't he? Alarms have gone off, police will be coming, right. And he phones down to security, doesn't he? And he says, tell them the codes, tell them it's a false alarm. Within seconds.
Yeah, he does. And like I say, then I like the shots of, where you're looking out the window and they're coming down the street, shall we say, highway in America. They're coming down towards him. And this is where Carl's brother now, because they know where the signals come from, don't they, which floor it was pulled on. So he now is coming to look for John McClane.
And then he hears them coming in.
Yeah, do you know the bit I like at this? He's got this machine gun. And he says, come out, I won't hurt you. Just as he says, I won't hurt you, he shoots round the back of the plasterboard.
Yes.
So, yes, you are going to hurt me. You're going to try and shoot me.
But he causes a distraction, doesn't he, McClane?
Yeah,
doesn't he? Yeah, pull a circular saw or something.
Yeah, and then that runs and stops. And the bit I thought of this? I thought this was quite silly of McClane. He puts a gun to him, doesn't he?
Yes.
And tells him to drop the machine gun. But then they start to fight.
Yes, and there's some good fights in this.
Oh, yeah, but McClane's got a gun. Why did he not just disable him with the gun instead of trying to fight him?
Yeah, I suppose so. I don't know. And then he gets his head bashed through a plasterboard, doesn't he?
Yeah, they're whacking each other's head into the plasterboard. And then they fall down the stairs. And obviously, unbeknown to John McClane, he's broke his neck, hasn't he, the other guy?
Yeah. You know what? I thought that was a bit of a soft kind of killing.
That's what I was just about to say.
But now you've mentioned breaking his neck. I suppose you could see that. But it just looked a bit soft, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But downstairs, Theo's still cracking the codes into it. But he's starting to drill the vaults now as well.
Yeah. And like you say, we still don't really know what they're doing and why they're doing it. And then Gruber, he's in the room with all the hostages.
Yes.
And what's John done?
McClane sends Cole's brother on a seat downstairs, and the elevator opens, and a woman screams, and Gruber is going to come out with a fantastic line in a minute, which you're going to do.
Am I?
Yes.
I remember the bit where it says, I now have a machine gun, ho, 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 written on
yes, but you can do it better than that.
What's the line?
I now have a machine gun, ho, ho, ho.
Oh, yes, he says it, doesn't he? Sorry, I'm with you. I now have a machine gun, ho, ho, ho.
Very good.
But I just like his accent. And, it's just so
It's
calm.
deadpan, yes.
Yeah, it's calm. There's no fluster with him. There's no, oh, right, okay, you've got a machine gun now. Brilliant.
But who's on the roof of the lift? McClane's on the roof, isn't he? Looking in.
He's watching this, isn't he?
He's got some guts.
Yeah. And how he's not stubbed his toe yet, I don't know.
No. But this next bit always makes me nervous. Every time I watch it, it makes me nervous. And it's where the lift starts going up. And I always think he's going to get squashed, he's going to get hit. And he never does, obviously. One day when I watch it, he will do.
Yeah, he just manages to get under the bar, doesn't he? The stop, which stops it from hitting the ceiling. And
it's crackers. It's crackers. These little things that they put in that have no impact on anything else, just to make you nervous.
Yeah, and like I say, it's because now we're rewatching these and we're looking at these things more than probably what we would do when we first watched it. You wouldn't have really give that a thought.
No, probably not. But he then gets out of the lift, and if you just notice, just about now, his vest is getting a little less white.
Yes, the Purcell's not been working, has it? It's not doing its job. But then the next scene we see Carl flipping over the desk because obviously Gruber's told him that his brother is dead.
Yeah, his brother Tony.
Tony, that's it. He's
what
dead.
A strange name.
Yeah, Carl and Tony.
Yeah, it's like an Italian name, isn't it? Not a kind of German name.
And then we also see Holly sat there, and Ellis is talking to her, isn't he? From when they sat together.
But McLean's on the rooftop now, isn't he? And they show you some fantastic shots. And to me, it's pretty scary because there's not very many high barriers around there. You trip up and you're over the edge. Yeah,
because he's really high up there, like you say. It's. I always think views like this of buildings and just lights look amazing.
Oh, they are. And I don't know, it gives you a little bit of vertigo, especially when you've had a little drink of wine and you're kind of wobbling anyway, and this kind of almost sends you over the edge. But anyway, he calls Mayday on his radio, his walkie-talkie thing. He stole that off Cole's brother, didn't he, when he broke his neck at the bottom of the stairs. But Gruber hears him and he sends his men on the roof.
But you know what I like from this? When he's talking to the switchboard operative at the police station, she says, if you don't get off this line, we'll come and arrest you, basically. And what does he say to her?
Well, you have to be careful here because he really insults her.
Yeah, he does. We're not going to do that. But he basically says, doesn't he? That's what I want you to do. I want you to come here and arrest me.
Yes.
So they come to the plaza.
But before he can finish, the men are up there and they're shooting at McLean. And McLean does make a run for it, doesn't he? And he almost slides off the top of that building, which, again, it gets you every time.
Yeah, and, when he slides down, you think he's going off the top of the roof.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, it is a very, very good film, this. It was, I forgot to say earlier, it's based on a novel, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know, is it?
Yes, it's based on a novel. And the novel is called Nothing Lasts Forever. And after that novel, they did like a spin-off film of it, and it was called The Detective, and it was in 1968, and it starred Frank Sinatra. Now, a bit of trivia before we get back into the film. Sorry, I've taken us off the film. They had to offer the lead role to Frank Sinatra.
Well, Frank, how old must he have been then?
78.
78.
78.
Right.
But the reason they had to offer him the role is because when he signed on to do The Detective, he signed a clause in his contract that if it was ever to be remade, he would have to have first refusal.
Wow.
So obviously remaking it and recalling it Die Hard, they had to offer it to Frank Sinatra first, which, fair to Frank, he turned it down.
I'll tell you what, Frank Sinatra in his younger days would have been good. If you've ever seen Von Ryan's Express, brilliant film. And he would have been good. At 78, it's like Clint Eastwood. Like you said, Clint Eastwood being offered the role. No. Clint Eastwood is just one of the greats of all time.
Of course he is.
But at an older age, you wouldn't have got that action.
No, you wouldn't have done it. And like I say, now I've found this out, I would like to watch The Detective.
Yeah, I think
just to see if there is any similarities between this and Die Hard. But, right, sorry, that's my bit of trivia. So we're on the roof, and obviously there's gunshots being fired, and now they dispatch it to another star of the show.
Yes, they decide to send what did they call them? A drive-by, and it's Powell, isn't it?
Yes.
But we first see Powell, and he's in the supermarket buying loads and loads of Twinkies. Have you ever had a Twinkie?
Yes.
I have as well.
They're quite sweet.
Yes, they are. I don't think I could sit in front of a film and eat a load of them.
No, but what does he say to the man behind the counter?
Is it for his wife? Is it pregnant or something?
Pregnant wife. Yeah, and he says some witty comment, and he says something witty back, doesn't he?
Yeah, but, sure.
Sure. Then as he's walking out, Dispatch go to him, don't they? And he says 8 Lincoln 30 is on the move, so that must be his badge number.
Well done.
Yes.
And then back on the top of the plaza, McLean's having a right gunfight with these terrorists, isn't he?
Yeah, because you can see when Powell comes out is it like a petrol station?
It is.
As he comes out there, he looks up at Nakatomi Plaza, doesn't he? You can see flashes on the rooftop.
You know what? I looked at that purposely this time and I didn't see anything.
No, there is. If you look, there's flashes like gunfire. Flashes
I knew I'd missed something.
Yeah, there is flashes on top.
I'm going to have to get that non-alcoholic wine out. They say it's good.
Well, it's not the wine that's the problem, Darren. It's the amount of glasses of it that you decide to drink.
It's the focusing.
Yes, and the focusing after you've drunk the glasses of wine. But like you say, they're really into this gunfight, and obviously then McLean comes back down, doesn't he, to where he was before?
Yeah, because he's shot the lock on the door, hasn't he? Burst through.
Yeah, and then he's kind of in the elevator system, isn't he, again?
He's like in an air conditioning unit, and the only way through is through the fan, which is crackers.
Yeah, and he wedges his gun in the fan, doesn't he, to stop it?
Would you do that?
Depends if someone's chasing me with a gun.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
Yeah, I suppose if someone's chasing me with a machine gun, you'd try anything. But yeah, but like I say, even to go into these ductings and things, and I like the next bit, what he does with the gun. He uses it like an anchor point, doesn't he, as he rappels down the elevator shaft.
Oh, it just turns your stomach.
Yes, it does. And he's putting a lot of trust in that clip, isn't he, on the gun?
Oh, and then he's kind of, what is it? It's like a strap he's got, a fabric strap.
Yeah.
And that starts to give away, doesn't it? As he's trying to stretch over to this opening.
Yeah, and then it finally does give way, doesn't it? And he has to make a jump. Well, he drops, doesn't he? He misses what he was going for originally, and he has to drop onto the one below it.
And you know what? Every time I watch that scene, I swear he falls further and further each time.
Yeah, and like you said, I thought when he does it, how he pulls himself up into that little space. You know, it's quite a tight space to pull yourself up and into.
Yeah, he's a fit fella, old John McClane.
Oh, definitely. And then, like you say, he's in now the little ventilation shaft, isn't he?
It's so claustrophobic. I do find this hard to watch, honestly. And then Bruce Willis's comedy kind of comes out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When he says, "Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs." That sounded more like Arnold Schwarzenegger, more like Sylvester Stallone.
I was going to say, I didn't realise he's from Austria. Not New York. I'll get my own back there.
But Bruce Willis's comedy in this is great.
Yeah, it's the one-liners.
It does get swallowed up by the tension and the action, doesn't it?
It
does. It just becomes kind of sarcastic.
Yeah, and it's like I always like the bit when he's in like the ducting and he flicks the lighter on, like you say, just before he says what he says, and how it lights him up, doesn't it? And then that's where Carl knows where he is.
Yes.
Because he's lit up where he is. And then I like this bit where he shoots the ducting in the next scene, isn't it? Because they're saying, you've got to go. You've not got time to, we've got to go. But he's wanting McLean, isn't he?
How did it miss him?
I don't know. Well, he's a little bit further back, isn't he?
I suppose so. And he's got his gun pointing down, isn't he?
Yeah, so he's ready to shoot Carl if he needs to. But it's all still at the minute, it's like hide and seek, isn't it? Still at the minute.
Yes. He's trying to suss him out, McLean, but he's also trying to hide at the same time.
Yeah.
But eventually he does get out and he goes to the office where Takagi was murdered. And then he sees Powell arrive, doesn't he? Through the window.
Yeah, and he's like chuntering to himself, isn't he, what to do? But to be fair to Powell, he does his job, he walks in, doesn't he?
He does.
He assesses the situation, and to him, nothing's out of place, nothing's wrong. So he leaves again, doesn't he?
Yeah, I do like it when he goes up to the security guard. And the security guard, even though he's only acting as one, he's kind of watching a ball game, isn't he? And I got $50 on this. That's what you'd expect. So he's really calm, that security guard. He's
playing his part, the security guard, isn't he? As a security guard.
But everybody's waiting for Powell's next move. They have got their eye on him, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all watching, waiting, guns ready, aren't they?
And like you said, he decides, there's nothing happening here. I'm on my way. And he gets in the car, and then what happens?
A dead body falls onto the top of his windscreen and bonnet.
What a shot.
Oh, definitely. I like that. When he's in the car and you can just see it coming.
Yeah.
You sense it's coming, and then it hits. And then what does Powell say? To hell with this. And he's reversing like mad.
Brilliant reversing.
Yeah, but obviously just before this, there is a gunfight, isn't there, in the office? This is where the dead body comes from.
Yes, you're quite right.
And then, like you say, he throws him down. And he reverses back at some speed, but then he's on the radio to dispatch, isn't he?
Yes. But when he reverses back and he goes down that kind of steep, it's not a cliff, it's like what is it?
It's like a banking, isn't it? But before that, we forget the one line that Bruce Willis says. Do you remember what he says?
Welcome to the party, pal.
That's it, as he's being shot. And he drops down, doesn't he? It's like I think it's to the under parking, isn't it? Under the building, basement parking. It's like that, isn't it? Something like that. And he gets out and all the Twinkies are falling everywhere.
Yeah, I loved it. And then do we cut to that reporter, Richard Thornburg?
Yes.
Who's on the phone in the studio, and he overhears the police call, doesn't he?
He's a bit of a slime ball as well, isn't he,
There's a few slime balls in this.
Yeah, and you hear it on the police radio that there's gunshots at Nakatomi Plaza. Then you see all the police cars coming, don't you?
Yeah, and I always think that this kind of scene, it was massive in the 80s, wasn't it? In comedies, in action films, where loads of police turn up, usually late, sirens blazing, even though this time they are on time. But it was synonymous, wasn't it?
Yeah.
1 million police officers turn up.
Yeah, it wasn't one police car, it was like 20 turn up for this. And then we pan back in, don't we? I think, is this the first interaction we see between McClane and Gruber on the walkie-talkie?
Yeah, because Gruber accepts that the police are coming now. Yeah. He says it was part of the plan and necessary. I don't understand that word. And when he says it was necessary, it's not necessary for the police to come. But yeah, this is the first interaction between the two. But McClane, he's so sarcastic. His comic delivery is brilliant. And he gives no respect to Gruber whatsoever. And he talks to him like dirt. Yeah,
because doesn't he say, are you a security guard? Doesn't he make like the wrong noise answer? I'm not going to do it because it's an annoying sound. That sound. He does that, doesn't he? And I like the bit when they've had the bit of interaction, how Gruber just puts the walkie-talkie down. You can see by his face, he's a bit like, he's not impressed, is he?
No, not at
all. No, and then we get back to Thornburg, and he's wanting to go, isn't he, to it? And he says it's going to be huge story.
Yes, he does.
And he just basically tells him to go, doesn't he?
Eventually, yes. But, just before that, that's when we have one of the most famous lines in movie history.
Do you want me to do it, or do you want to do it? But you can't do the whole thing.
No, we can't. It's a family show, and we've got to keep it clean. So go for it.
Yippee-ki-yay.
No, nothing else? No?
I daren't do the other bit, no. So I kind of had to stop myself there, to be fair. I had to tell myself in my little brain then, don't do the whole thing.
Yeah. Shall we say it was something like, yippee-ki-yay, brother trucker? It was something like that, wasn't it?
Very similar to that. Very similar to my S-Burries earlier. Yes. Yeah, definitely. But like you say, that's very quotable because we've all said that line at some point.
And so I read Bruce Willis made that up on the spot to make the crew laugh, people who were filming it.
Brilliant. Sometimes, with most films, ad-libbing in films works better than what they had originally planned.
Yeah, and you know what? It's only until kind of doing these podcasts and doing a bit of research that you find there's more ad-libbing that goes on than what you've ever thought.
Yeah, and I like doing these because I like to look at different things, to try, like I've said before, to find information that I didn't know and be pleasantly surprised by what we don't know. And like we say, it's the stories going into Christine's, the little bits that we talk about. I think, this is 80s films for me.
Yes. But anyway, Theo is now still drilling and he's 3 down, 4 to go. But Powell's on his radio, isn't he? And he says, if the person who radioed for help can hear me on this channel, please acknowledge this transmission.
And then this starts the, what can we call it? Not a bromance.
It's kind of a brilliant rapport they have with each other.
And you know, just a bit of trivia, when this was reviewed originally, I can't think who did the review. He only gave it like 2 stars or 2 out of 10. Because he said for him, the rapport between Powell and McClane, he didn't like it.
How can you not like it?
I think it works because you've got 2 different cops, you know, bantering off each other and just talking to each other, because Powell basically is just a shoulder for McClane to lean on, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a link as well to the outside.
Yeah, to the outside. So he knows what's going on outside. He knows what's going on inside. And for me, I quite like Powell's character.
Oh, he's brilliant.
To be fair to him. He seems a decent guy.
Yes. And again, common sense.
Yeah, he does. And then we see shortly, don't we, one of your favourite characters from another film.
Yeah.
Dwayne T. Robinson.
That's the one. That's the one. And he was the teacher in Breakfast Club.
Yeah, he's useless.
He's brilliant, though.
How can he be in that position of power? He's a buffoon.
He is, actually.
Because we see him turn up now, don't we? And then he takes over talking to McClane. But he's just an absolute buffoon.
He is, but again, his rapport with Powell is different to what McClane's is. He's just a big head. And he's played the same character in The Breakfast Club.
Yeah, if you're good at something, keep doing it. And he's good at this. But like you say, looking now at it from the outside, he is a buffoon, but he's a likeable buffoon.
Yes, yeah, you can't put your finger on it.
No, there's something, you don't dislike him. You quite like him, but you don't like him, you know, if that makes sense.
Anyway, with all this drama and wine, I was getting a little bit hungry, and I decided that it was time for my 2-drink snack of choice.
2 drinks, we're going to knock this on a 2-bottle snack of choice for you.
Yes. So I paused the DVD, which I hate to do, but I had to go to the toilet. And I came back downstairs and grabbed my big bag of ready salted chipsticks. Remember them? I used to have them in the 80s.
Oh, I love them.
They were great. Which I have with the missus because it was a family bag. And they were the perfect accompaniment to this wonderful glass of red I had. And
can we change that from glass to bottle?
Of course, but it's like I've been drinking now.
Yeah.
But anyway, I had some chipsticks, a drink of wine because I was hungry, and already an hour had gone in the film. But I'd forgot about it. I usually have a little bit of something to eat earlier, but it's nail biting. The tension just holds you there.
It is, you know, I think me and you are pretty much like Powell and McClane. You're the resident drunk on our podcast, and I'm the resident pig that's having the Twinkies.
Yes. Well,
you know what I mean?
I'm going to wear my vest in future when I'm watching films then.
Good man. But, you know, also, just, like, getting back into Die Hard, there's a subtle bit on this next scene, which, for me, I like this little scene, because you know me, and when I say this, you'll get this. When it goes back into the office, I think it's Holly's office where Gruber is.
Yes.
Because obviously now it's becoming common knowledge that something's happening in this building. They bring a miniature portable TV in. Did you pick up on that? Like a very miniature screen, like an alarm clock size TV, and put it at the side of him. And you think, wow, how times have changed.
Yes.
How times have changed.
Is that where Holly comes in and asks if a pregnant lady can be moved to a sofa or something?
Yeah. And also this bit, because she looks across, doesn't she, where the picture of her and John and the kids are. And he turns round, doesn't he, Gruber, and looks as if to say, what were you looking at?
Yeah,
but he doesn't twig.
No. Was it face down?
Yes, because she put it down.
But he's onto everything, isn't he? Yeah. Gruber's onto everything. He's not daft. He's got a brain for every single situation and scenario.
Yeah, he has. And then, obviously, we cut back outside, and this is where it's starting to heat up outside, isn't it?
It certainly is. And I think Argyle, he's just about to pour himself a drink in the limo because he's having a good time. And doesn't he hear this on the TV?
Yes. And then he tries to get out, but he can't get out because all the doors and gates are shut.
Yes, and we've got all these police now that have assembled around the plaza. And we've also got Powell and Robinson still arguing. And they don't stop arguing all the way through.
No, and this is quite good, but in typical fashion of the American police, and I think Gruber knows this, of SWAT, don't get me wrong, these are brave men. They're making a storm for the door of the building, aren't they?
Yes.
So they're going for it, but little do they know there's a surprise waiting for them. As they go through the door, there's people waiting with machine guns, isn't there? For
Oh, of course, yes, sorry. Because they've already lit up the place, haven't they, with these big, massive lights. And the terrorists have shot the lights, haven't they? And then they decide, they go up. And this surprised me, and I had to pause it and rewind it again, because when the SWAT team, I think there's 3 or 4 of them, first go up, they try to pick the lock on the door.
Yes, they do.
They've got all the ammo in the world, and they try to pick the lock.
Strange, because then they send in like a tank, don't they, to the door?
Yeah, what does he say? His famous line, bring in a car, bring in a car.
And he does that, and then they've got like bazookas, haven't they?
Yes.
Which they fire at it and then blow it up.
Yes. Now, at this point as well, is this where one of the terrorists goes behind a desk and gets that chocolate bar? Because that's brilliant.
Yeah, he's just sat there. It's a Crunchy, I think. And he's there with the gun. He's been in lots of films. He's quite distinguished, isn't he? You can see, he's that little...
Yeah, his name's
I've seen him in loads of things.
Al Leong.
Yes, he's been in loads of things. It's quite funny because he's sat there with his gun, isn't he? He sees his eyes look down and he sees the chocolate, doesn't he, in the cabinet underneath. And he picks it up and starts eating it.
We're all thinking the same, aren't we?
Yeah, you do the same. You do it because he's looking at it and thinking, I'll have one of them. So he has one. And then, like you say, and then there's more explosions inside the building. And it's really sorry. Don't they drop something down the lift shaft and it blows up? Yes.
What John does is, has he got some C4?
That's it. He's got the C4 and the detonators, hasn't he, in his bag?
Yes, and he gets a computer monitor, off one of the tables, and he puts them all on a chair to weigh it down. And then he decides to send it right down the lift shaft.
That's it. He throws it down the shaft, which then causes the explosion.
To me, that is one of the biggest and greatest explosions in cinematic history. It's absolutely wonderful.
Yes, because he straps it down to the chair, and then he works, because they're down, aren't they, where the bazooka is?
Yes.
He drops it down to where they are, which is very clever. And then it causes this humongous explosion. And
they show you the explosion from all angles, don't
they?
Yeah. And every angle looks brilliant.
Yes, they do. You see it from outside, inside, and it's the smoke and everything outside that's
it's
impressive
brilliant.
For me.
And you've got Thornburg outside, and he's pleased. Did you get that? Obviously, he's not bothered about who's got killed. He just wants that footage.
He wants the ratings, doesn't he? He wants the ratings.
Yes. And again, but McLean and Powell speak again after this, because he just calms down a little bit. But Robinson takes the radio off Powell, doesn't he?
Yeah, he starts taking control, doesn't he?
Yes, and he starts to argue with McLean. Well, you've got two characters there that are not going to see eye to eye.
No, definitely not.
But Robinson tells McLean that he's in charge, and what does McLean say? Well, I'm sorry, but from up here, I think they're in charge.
Yeah, he's quite quick-witted, isn't he, John McLean? And like I say, they have a bit of banter, and then this is where we see Ellis.
Oh, dear, yes.
Oh, this is just horrific.
And he's still having a little snort, isn't he, before he decides, as I close multi-million-dollar deals.
For breakfast.
Yeah, this is no problem.
I like how when he walks into the office where Gruber is and he's, did he say Hans baby or something?
Yes.
Something silly. And Carl's got his hand on his gun as if to say, just let me shoot him.
You wouldn't speak to people who are potentially going to kill you like that, would you?
You'd have kept your head down and wouldn't have said anything.
But anyway, he hears him out, doesn't he?
Yeah, he listens to him.
And basically he's ratting on McLean. I can give him to you, is what he says. And who fetched him a drink of Coca-Cola?
And poured it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, and he poured it, yeah. And then, but to be fair, when he's being all cocky and arrogant on the radio to McLean, he gets what he deserves at the end of it, doesn't he?
Yes, because he speaks to McLean and says, "Give him the detonators, John, they're going to kill me." But McLean tells Gruber, he says, "Don't listen to him at all."
Yeah, we're not friends.
And we don't actually see Ellis getting killed, but we just hear the gunshots.
Yeah, you hear it on John's walkie-talkie, don't you?
Yes. Now, would you have preferred Ellis to kind of live and make a nuisance of himself throughout the film, or are you quite glad that they got rid of him when they did?
As much as he's annoying, I'd as sooner him live. You know what I mean? How about you? What do you think?
I think if he'd have lived, he'd have still messed it up further along down the line.
He would.
I think he'd have probably tried to do a deal with Gruber and get on the helicopter.
Yeah. And then, like you say, you hear the gunshot, and then it pans outside, and Powell and Robinson are just still going at each other.
They are. And I'm thinking, go on, Powell, go on.
Because Powell doesn't give him an inch, does he? As soon as he says something, he's on him.
Yes. But Powell's coming at it from a normal, common sense point of view. Whereas, it's funny, isn't it? The way people in power portrayed, the higher up they get, the worse they get. Yeah. The more foolish they get.
Yeah, and then he starts talking to Gruber, doesn't he?
Yes, Robinson. Yeah, and he kind of lists a load of people that he's probably made up off the top of his head that he wants releasing. And then he wants a helicopter on the roof. And I think he's probably just buying some time, isn't he?
Yeah, it's very clever what he does there, because he's giving him a list of people to release that he doesn't know. Yes. He's just trying to take their attention away from
them stealing the money.
Yeah, exactly. And to get a helicopter to the roof, and we'll talk about at the end why he wants the helicopter on the roof. So it's very, very clever. Yeah, and then it cuts to the radio, to the TV station. I think this is hilarious, because doesn't that TV anchor say it's from Sweden or something?
Helsinki in Sweden.
Helsinki, that's it. That's in Sweden. And then what did they come back with?
I don't want to show myself up because I can't remember.
I can't quite remember what they say, but he's completely wrong on what he's just said, doesn't he?
Yes.
And he smiles at the camera, he's like, "Oh God, yeah, sort of thing I'd do." Yeah. You know what I mean? And
but then, did the FBI turn up?
No, we see Ellis being dragged away first.
Yes, we do. Yes,
and then the FBI. I love this line. I think Powell's delivery of this line is brilliant. Can you remember what he says to him? He goes, "Oh, look, the FBI's turned up, and then this line has me in stitches."
Go for it. I can't remember.
Here you go. Do you want a breath mint? You know, as if to say, because he's going to start sucking up to them, isn't he? Yeah. It's just the way he says it to him. "Do you want a breath mint?"
His look of contempt on his face.
Yeah, and then he's shaking handing. Now, can you remember the names of the FBI agents?
I certainly can, and I think it's brilliant. Johnson and Special Agent Johnson. No relation.
Yeah, I love it when he says that. But these two are bumbling idiots as well. Is it just me? Or are these two just idiots?
No, they are. They are. Everybody's an idiot in this.
They are. And, like you've just said, a bit further on when they're on the helicopter and he radios in, he says, "Johnson, no, the other one."
Yeah.
Which I find quite amusing. Obviously, we know Special Lieutenant, or whatever the second one you said, he's in Goonies, that one.
Yes,
he's one of the Fratellis.
Yes, he is. He's very good.
But this is also, I like this next bit. This is very clever. You didn't see, if you've never seen it, you don't really see this bit coming, do you?
Is this where Gruber's looking for the detonators and all of a sudden he comes face to face with McLean?
He drops down, and what does he first see? Because he's above, isn't he, looking for the detonators?
I think he jumps down. His feet, does he?
Yes, his feet. And then this, for me, is a bit cringy how he acts to start with.
Do you know what? I think it's really smart.
Yeah.
Because what else could he do but pretend to be one of the hostages?
And because he's in the suit and he looks smart, he gets away with it.
He certainly does. And Alan Rickman, I think you said it before, was apparently terrible at putting on an American accent, and he absolutely hated it. And if you listen really closely, you can hear his English accent really shine through.
Yeah, because they said this was the worst bit of the film, because they were on about dubbing it, wasn't they?
Yes.
To try and cover it up, but then they just let it go. And to be honest, it's not bad. It is a terrible accent, but he's very clever how he manipulates McLean.
He is, but McLean is in cop mode because Gruber wants to go one way to where his gun is, but McLean says no. you're going this way. And what a brilliant situation just to add into this film.
Yeah, because he hasn't got a clue who he is, has he? And then as they're starting to walk off, then does he radio down Gruber?
Well, he shows him how to use the gun, doesn't he?
That's right. Sorry, yes, he gives him a gun. Because it's quite sick because McLean gives him the gun.
And then Gruber thinks to himself, what a fool. And then he radios, and in his German voice, he kind of says, drop the weapon, or Irish or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think going forward, Darren, we need to stop trying to do the accents.
I think the viewers love it.
Yeah,
I think the listeners love it.
Yeah, because we sound like absolute idiots doing it.
We are.
Yeah, but that's what makes this podcast good. But the bit I quite like from this, they're actually talking and laughing and joking with each other.
Yeah, because he says, yeah, that's a tricky accent you got there. You should be on TV with an accent like that.
Yeah, and also, do you remember what he says his name is?
Yes. He asked him, and he says, John McClane, and he says, Clay, Bill Clay. Because he sees it, William Clay, up on a sign, doesn't he?
Very clever what he's just done there.
Yes.
I thought. So.
But the way McClane, when he tries to fire the gun, gave him the gun with no bullets in, and says, do you think I'm stupid, Hans? Was brilliant, because all the time I'm thinking, well, he's given him a loaded gun, he's just going to shoot you. I never once thought that he wouldn't have put bullets in it.
Yeah. And then this next scene, I thought was quite clever what they did here with the whole thing. Because obviously Carl comes up, doesn't he?
Yeah, Gruber's men come up, yeah.
They come up and they're firing. And to be fair to Hans, he's quite clever here, what he tells them to do. Do you remember what he tells them to do?
Well, can I tell you what I don't understand about this scene? He tells them to break the glass, doesn't he? So
Yes.
he's going to cut his feet.
Yeah.
And what I don't get about it is Gruber, who's German, tells Carl, who's German, to shoot the glass in German. But Carl doesn't understand until he says it in English. How's that work?
I don't know. I never even noticed that until you just said.
He speaks in German.
Right.
And Carl looks at him and he says, shoot the glass. So he shoots the ball.
Yes. I'm looking at it now. He does, yeah. Yeah.
And,
yeah.
And they were able to do this because this is where the offices were being renovated.
Yeah.
So they could make as much mess as they wanted, they were told. But the staff downstairs could hear the gunfire and they'd frequently complain about this.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not.
I'm not surprised because there's some bullets being fired here.
And I think I read that Bruce Willis became partially deaf in one ear because of they were that much noise.
I'm not surprised. And like you say, then clever because he knows he's got nothing on because he looked at his feet, so he knows he's got nothing on his feet.
Yes.
And McLean, like all of us, you've got to get out of the way, so he's got to run over that glass.
And he does. But yeah, he kind of disappears, doesn't he? And he leaves the detonators behind.
Yeah, now.
In that bag.
Hans has got the detonators.
Yes. So again, he's switching from good to bad to good to bad.
Yeah, and then the next scene we see John, he's dragging himself, isn't he, into the bathroom.
Well, he is. After, outside, Thornburg's crew found everything out about John McClane, and in a bit, they're going to go round to Holly McClane's house. But yes, you're quite right.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit, because that's not on what he does there.
Yeah, and again, Carl, he kind of goes downstairs and starts smashing things up. And Holly sees him, and she knows that John's alive, because she says, only John could drive somebody that crazy. God, she wants to work where I work and you work.
She'd sympathise with us, wouldn't she? No, we know what I mean. She's quite right when she says it. We probably need to cut that bit out.
but you're right what you say.
Yeah.
He now drags himself into the bathroom, doesn't he?
Yes.
Where he has to pick all that glass out of his feet, and it's so hard to watch.
Oh, there's loads of blood, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a small bit. There is a lot of blood on that floor. Now, looking at it logically, like we do on this podcast, how is he able to walk after that?
Oh, I don't know, but I think he's got to, hasn't he? As much pain as he's in, he's got to. And
he's picking the glass out, but he's also on the radio to Powell, isn't he?
Yes.
And is this the point where he says, I need you to get a message to my, is it wife and kids? Because he's got a bad feeling, hasn't he, about this now?
Kind of, but he also asked Powell why he mainly works behind a desk.
Yes.
This is where Powell says he was traumatised after shooting a 13-year-old kid by mistake.
Yeah, you would be. So you'd sympathise. Because he openly admits it was a mistake. He thought it was something else and he shot him and he shouldn't have done it. But, yeah, and so, like we said before, Powell seems a decent guy.
He is a decent guy.
A decent guy, yeah. So,
and in the meantime, Theo's broke through all the barriers to the in the vault. But the electromagnetic seal is engaged now. That's as far as he can go. The rest is up to Gruber.
It is, and I like this next bit of interaction between Johnson & Johnson and Robinson, where the guy is in, like, he's just going down, isn't it, into the manhole.
Yes.
And does he basically tell him, you won't have a job or something if you don't go and cut this power. And little knowing to them, with him cutting that power, that unlocks the seventh door,
because the electromagnetic field, which was holding it together, because there's no electricity, it releases.
And do you know the bit I like with this? It's the music.
Yeah.
The opera music to it. And you think, very clever. I like that.
And Theo just stands there and goes, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, well, it is, because I think I said it earlier. Do you remember how much is in there? Supposedly.
I don't know, 560 million or something.
640 million of bearer bonds.
And there's all sorts of other things. There's paintings and jewellery and everything, isn't there?
There's all sorts in there. So now they're in there and they're loading up, aren't they? So basically, John says it's in a minute, doesn't he? They're nothing but just thieves. They're not terrorists. They're just thieves.
I think it's Holly, isn't it?
Yeah, she says it.
She says it as well. But the FBI call for the helicopter to come, and they want to speak to Gruber to tell him. And Gruber and the FBI have different ideas of what's going to happen when that helicopter comes. I think the FBI, right, we're going to kill him. And Gruber thinks when it comes, we're going to blow the Nakatomi Plaza up.
Yeah. So like I say, they wanted to do this. The next scene we see is Thorburn, isn't it?
Yes, and this...
Thornburg.
Sorry, just before, this is the bit you were on about, when you were on about he passes a message on to Powell, to his wife, and Powell doesn't want to hear it, does he?
No, he doesn't want him giving in.
He says, no, you better tell it yourself. And if you notice, his vest's gone.
Do you know where his vest's gone? I know where his vest's gone. Do you know where his vest's gone?
No, he just chucked it away.
No. He's made use of that vest, Darren. He's wrapped it round his feet.
He's wrapped it, has he?
Yes, that's what he's put on his feet because they're bleeding. Because it shows his feet and he's got the vest. He's ripped it and tied it around his feet.
I've scrutinised this film from start to finish. I've watched it a million times. Never noticed that.
See, this is the good bit of this, because you notice things I don't notice. I notice things you don't notice.
Very good.
So he's made some shoes out of his vest.
Very good. And then we've got Thornburg, who's round at Holly's house, isn't there? And he's hassling the housekeeper. Yeah,
totally wrong. And he basically just tells it, doesn't he? If you don't let me in, we're going to tell everyone you're basically an illegal immigrant, isn't it?
Yeah. All just to speak to kids.
Yeah, just to get them on TV, which is not right. And then we cut back to John, who now is making his way, because he's speaking to Powell, isn't it? And then when he's done with Powell, he's saying, why was you on the roof? Meaning Gruber. Why was Gruber up on the roof? So then he goes back up and he sees all the C4, doesn't he, and the explosives.
Massive amount.
Yeah. And then this is also where Carl is.
Yes, he is. Yes, correct. Yes.
And then we ensue in this big fight because Carl just says, no guns, basically, doesn't it? Let's do this man on man. And McLean is thumping him, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He is punching him.
Yeah, you can tell it's kind of personal to Carl and it's personal to McLean. But McLean, I tell you what, Bruce Willis is a pretty fit guy because he has some proper scraps.
Yeah, he does. And then, like you say, it pans to the LAPD. And then it pans back to Gruber in the office. And this is where you see the little TV that was on about earlier.
Ah, right, yes.
With the aerial up, and it's got, obviously, the news is on. And this is where Gruber twigs on, because he looks at Holly, because Holly is looking absolutely mortified at the screen.
Yes.
So like you've just touched on, a clever guy, because he looks at Holly and thinks, what's she so shocked about? Looks back at the screen, and then...
Then he lifts the picture, doesn't he? Or the photograph.
it's his daughter, it's Holly's daughter on the screen. And he's looking.
Yes.
Then he picks up the photograph.
Yes.
Now he knows who she is.
And I love the way he comes out and shoots that gun.
Yes. Very clever, very good, very well filmed.
But he tells his men to get everybody together and take him up. And just as Holly goes, he goes, "Not you." And he grabs her, doesn't he?
Yeah, now he's got her. Now he knows who she is. He's got leverage against McClane.
So anyway, back at McClane and Cole and their epic fight, they're having a real battle. But he does get the upper hand, doesn't he? And how does he get the upper hand? I think he goes up some steps again and he hangs him on a chain.
Yes, he does. He kind of, like say, they're having a really good scrap. And then he gets him, like say, on the stairwell. And he's saying to him, isn't he, "I'm going to kill you, I'm going to do this, do that," isn't he, as he's talking to him. And then, unbeknown to Carl, he wraps the chain, doesn't he, round his neck.
Yeah, and it's kind of on a pulley, isn't it? He pushes him and he kind of hangs him.
Yeah, he does. And he swings him across and he hits the wall. And you think that's the end of Carl.
Yeah, you forget about him.
Yeah, he's gone because he's just kind of hanging there.
And I'll tell you what, outside, the FBI are now flying through the streets below the Nakatomi Plaza. What a shot that is. How cool does that look?
Oh, exactly. And what does the older Johnson say? It's like being in Saigon, doesn't it, or something?
Yes.
Back in Saigon. And the other one says, "I was in junior high."
Yes, or words to that effect.
Words to that effect. And then, obviously, John's back on the roof because he knows what's going to happen. And he's trying to get everybody off the roof. So he's sending them back down, isn't he?
He's trying to, and they're not listening to him, are they? He asks where Holly is, and they say down on the 30th floor at the vault. So they're not listening to him, so he starts shooting, doesn't he, to kind of spook them and make them move quicker, because he knows the detonator's up there and it's going to blow. But Agent Johnson & Johnson must think that he's a terrorist and start shooting at him.
Yeah, and then they kind of trap him, don't they, to a degree, where he is on the roof. So he has no option to get the fire hose.
Oh, dear.
Wrap it round him, because he's talking to himself, isn't he? He says, "This is a bad idea, John."
Yes.
Really bad idea. And then, iconic scene, he jumps, doesn't he? Just as he jumps, Gruber blows the roof, doesn't he?
What an unbelievable shot that is.
Oh, yeah, brilliant. Really well done. And
there's a reel that's connected it that comes off and luckily for him gets trapped underneath a concrete wall. And he's just dangling there, isn't he?
With his bloody feet on the windows.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, how on earth is he going to get through this? But he's trying to smash the glass with his feet. And then he realises if he kind of swings back, shoots the glass, he'll be able to get through. Which exactly what he does.
But then also, just as he's landed, I like his face in this because obviously the reel and the hose reel is still attached to him.
Yep.
To which he's pulling him out the window. It's the realisation on his face. As if, oh no. And it's dragging him back and then he cuts it off.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but that shot then of the top of the building that's just obviously flames and everything. And then we pan back down to Gruber because everything's blowing up, isn't it? Downstairs.
Yes, everything's crumbling and it looks like the whole building's coming down.
Yeah, but also, as we're doing this, which you don't really realise has happened, the helicopter with Johnson & Johnson has been blown up, hasn't it?
Yeah, that would have been a bit of a surprise. That I thought they'd have made more of a meal of it. It just it's just the next shot.
Yeah, it just appears out of the flames.
Mm.
And then it drops down. And then we see Robinson and Powell again. They're like joined at the hip, these two, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah, and then obviously John's making his way through the...
Is he at the foyer where he first entered the building? That's from the lift. Is he back where he started now?
Yeah, and now he's trying to make his way... No, he's at where the party was.
Yes, that's what I mean. That's where... Yeah.
He's at the party, and then Argyle, it pans to him, doesn't it?
Yes.
And he's watching them all loading up the van full of all their loot, shall we say.
Yeah, and he kind of thinks, hang on, there's something a bit fishy going on here. I'm not quite sure about this. And doesn't he see a medical truck come out the back of another truck?
Yes, an ambulance comes out the back of the truck.
That's it, and it's Theo, isn't it? So he decides to ram it straight in, and then he gets out, and there's a right hook on him. And I tell you what, he looks pretty pleased with himself as well.
Well, you would be yourself, wouldn't you? Like you say, Argyle saves the day, basically.
Yeah, he does.
And then we pan to, I quite like this next shot, is where John is staggering down the hallway.
Yes.
But it's so well lit and shot, it looks pretty much like he's a zombie, doesn't it, coming towards you, because he's dragging his feet and he's got the gun and he's just covered in blood.
Yes, and he's shouting, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like Rocky at the end of Rocky.
Yes.
But
and then he realises, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, Gruber pulls out his insurance policy, which is Holly, and holds the gun to her head.
Yes.
And then McLean kind of moves in on them, doesn't he? But Gruber's telling him repeatedly to put down your gun, which he finally does.
I'll do that again.
Go
on.
Put down your gun.
Brilliant. I didn't know it was Robocop. No, but then he drops the gun. And did you notice how he drops the gun really strangely? Okay. He holds out his hands in a really weird way and he drops it down. And you think, what have you done that for? Now you've no gun. But unbeknown to Hans, he does, doesn't he?
Doesn't Hans crack a joke or something and they all start laughing?
Yeah, and John's really laughing hard. And even Holly's looking at him as if saying, what are you laughing at? Because he knows he's got a gun behind his back, doesn't he?
And the way the camera shoots it, because we're all fooled thinking, well, he's got his hands up in the air. Yeah. Why is he laughing? And then the camera shot from behind reveals it to the audience.
Has it got Christmas tape?
It has.
To it? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So it's got Christmas tape. And then quite quickly, Gruber goes to shoot him, but he shoots him first, doesn't he?
Oh, he shoots that guy that was on security. Yeah. And he shoots Gruber, and then he blows his gun. Like Roy Rogers, because he said, just call me Roy at the beginning, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Very clever. Well done, Darren. I'm glad you picked up on that. And then, but unbeknown to McLean, as Gruber falls back, he's still got hold of Holly, hasn't he?
Yes.
And he falls out of the window.
But he's taking Holly with him. Yeah,
but something comes into play that was mentioned earlier in the film.
Well, because he's holding on to Holly's watch, isn't he?
That's it. He's got the Rolex.
Oh, of course. I'd never even noticed that.
He got the Rolex. So as he's gripping the Rolex, they're trying to undo the Rolex, aren't they, to get him to obviously let go. And they finally let go. Now, a bit of trivia for this scene. Alan Rickman actually filmed this falling scene. So we were set up on this like rigging doing this. Now, his facial expression, I always think, is brilliant in this as he's falling. And the reason being it's so good, they said they were going to count him down from 10 to 1 and then they'd drop him.
Okay.
They went 10, 9 and dropped him. So he didn't realise they were going to drop him when they dropped him. And that's why his facial expression is so fearful. Because he didn't, obviously, you would, I would. You're expecting to get to 1. He didn't get to 1. It was 10, 9, drop him. And then they dropped him.
Oh, you know what? I bet he said yippee-ki-yay.
Yes. Yeah, when they're done. But it's such an iconic scene. And I like the next line that comes out of Robinson's mouth. Do you remember what he says when it pans to them at the floor?
I remember him talking, but I can't remember what he says.
Oh, my God, I hope that's one of the terrorists, not a hostage. Because it's falling. And then it's Powell's face. I know falling from a building isn't good with things that have happened in the world, but it's Powell's face.
Yeah.
Like he's scrunching, like, you know, I probably don't mean this how it sounds. When he hits the floor, it's his face, isn't it? He scrunches it up.
Yeah. Sorry, I've just thought of something. Maybe Ellis wasn't such a bad guy, because if Ellis wouldn't have given her that Rolex, then all Gruber would have had to hang on to was Holly's arm.
Yeah.
So maybe, inadvertently, Ellis has saved Holly's life.
Maybe. You could be right. You're probably right, actually.
He's still a slime ball, though.
Yeah, exactly. He's still a yuppie slime ball. And then we pan out of Nakatomi Plaza, don't we? And everything's just falling everywhere.
It looks like a war zone, doesn't it?
Yes. It really, because obviously with all the explosions, and we see the news truck coming into shot.
But we see this brilliant scene when McClane and Powell meet for the first time.
Oh, yeah, because they just know instantly who, and you just see Powell nodding and smiling. And like you say, all the way through the people, obviously McClane, then they meet. And it's quite a nice scene.
Oh, it's brilliant.
You know, where they just hug each other. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to control myself at this stage, because I have got some form if the listeners have listened to Planes, Trains. So I really do. Maybe it's the wine that does it. It kind of turns you
beat me to that. It's the 3 bottles of wine that makes you cry. You turn into an emotional drunk when you're watching these films.
Yeah, it's not such a bad thing.
No. And then we see Robinson come over to McClane. And what does he say to him?
I don't know, but he gives him all sorts of abuse, doesn't he?
He does. But this is the bit that I forgot this next bit, to be honest, where Carl appears with a machine gun.
Yes.
And then it's Powell, because everyone hits the ground, don't they? But Powell draws his gun, which he's never done.
Since that poor lad got killed.
And then he's the one that takes out Carl.
Yes, and he kind of saves the day, and he's a cop again.
Yes.
Although, I don't know. There's something that, why are we all happy? Because he's just killed somebody. But I see what you mean. He's protecting and serving.
Yeah, and I like this next bit, because then Thornburg turns up, doesn't he? Points a camera in the McClane's faces.
Wants to know their feelings.
Yeah, what does Holly do?
She gives him a right whack in the face. Well
exactly,
done.
Quite right as well. And then they get bundled into Argyle's limousine. End credits start to roll.
Before you end this, right, this is what I don't understand about this ending. McClane's pretty bust up, isn't he? And Holly she's a witness to murder. Surely they'd be checked out, in hospital, and interviewed by the police. But no, they just get in the car and go home.
That's Hollywood for you, Darren. That's a better ending.
Yeah, it doesn't spoil what was, it's one of my favourite films of all time. I'm not picking bits out of it, because it is a brilliant film.
No, and like you say, you kind of semi-beat me to that then. I was just about to say, so what do you think now, watching Die Hard back in 2026?
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's a roller coaster ride from start to finish. And I think rewatching it just now, it's the first time I've ever noticed the massive amount of comedy that's in this film. Everybody seems to have a sarcastic or comic line. It's just all the tension in the past when I've watched it, I've always been on the action. Wow, look at that. Look at that action. It's absolutely brilliant. But the comedy is brilliant too.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I'm the same as you. Watching it back, I still enjoy watching it. I still think it's a very good action film. And like you say, it's the little characters, I think, that make this film as good as it is. It's not just all on Bruce Willis's shoulders to make this a good film.
True.
You've got, Powell makes it a good film. And like I say, Robinson and Powell, that combination is brilliant. And it's little bits like, especially Gruber. Gruber, to me, is the star of this film. Just the way he is.
Yeah, I'd say equal billing.
I'd say it's 50-50 between the good guy and the villain, because you quite like the villain, but you're also rooting for John McClane to get the villain. And, I didn't, even watching it back, I didn't dislike the villain. Where some films you think, yeah, get him sort of thing. You do. This one, no, I didn't. Even like when we watched RoboCop with Clarence Boddicker, I didn't dislike his character, how he was. I disliked what he was doing, but I didn't dislike how they portrayed his character, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, totally. But with you asking me that question at the beginning and at the end, is it a Christmas film? I'm going to sound really hypocritical, because for years it's been a staple for me and the missus at Christmas. Christmas, it comes earlier and earlier each year. We try to fend it off as long as we can. But around late November, I end up giving in. And usually on a Saturday, because to me, it's not a weeknight film, this. It's got to be a Saturday. I have the bath, PJs on, glass of wine, sofa, diode. And that's at 10 o'clock in the morning. No, it's in. and that's me. And at the end of it, I said to Mrs. Wright, Christmas can begin now. But I don't look at it as a Christmas film.
No, it's funny. Christmas is brilliant because you have your routines at Christmas, don't you? Your rituals, should I say. There's certain films, I won't mention that. There's certain films that I watch every Christmas. I do.
Yes.
And I've done it since I was teenage, and I still do it now. That's my part of Christmas that I like. And like you say, for me, I think it's a film shot at Christmas, but I get what people say. It's a Christmas film. But to me, a Christmas film's got Santa in it, Darren.
Correct, yes.
You know what I mean?
But it has got a Christmas song in it at the end,
it has. And it's just, to me, it's still a very good film. Not taking anything away from it. It's brilliant, but I still like the third one.
Yes.
And looking at it now from how I am now, it still does. I would watch this with my kids. If they wanted an action film, when they're of age to watch, have you got any good action films for me to watch, Dad? I'd be like, yeah, watch that one.
Yes,
definitely. That is one I would pick for them to watch. It really is one I would pick for them to watch.
I think a few podcasts ago you asked me a how many out of 10 question. To me, this is a 9.5 for me.
Yeah, I think if I'm scoring this one, this is a very high 8 for me, 8.5. You know what I mean, for me.
Very good.
Yes. So, Darren, now we have just done Die Hard. What film will we be looking back on next week on 80s Rewatch?
So next time, Simon, I think we're going to go back to that golden era of the 80s, 1984. And I want you and all our listeners to bring anything to keep you awake at night. Because we're heading for a certain street, a terrifying street. Yes, we will be rewatching Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street. A film that scared millions of teenagers around the world, including me. And it probably scared you as well.
It did. As soon as you've said that, I'm counting the numbers and singing the song in my head.
Right.
So well, I'm looking forward to that one because we've not really done a horror.
No, the nearest horror we've got was The Lost Boys, but this is delving really deep into the horror. I'm really glad you've picked this one because when we was at school, these were the films most kids spoke about, wasn't they? It certainly was.
So we're going to be going where, Darren? Which street and what film is it? You've told me, haven't we? Elm Street and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes, so please join myself and Simon next time on 80s Rewatch.